Snow fell like knives across the mountain estate as Ethan Hale stood at the iron gates with his twins pressed against his legs. Ava clutched her pink scarf with numb fingers. Miles tried to stand tall, jaw tight, mimicking the strength he thought his father needed to see. Behind them, Rex, the massive German shepherd, stood rigid, eyes locked on the men unloading boxes from the house as if they were trash, not the remains of a family. 3 weeks ago, Ethan had buried his wife. Today, her parents were burying what little stability he had left. Margaret Collins watched from the porch, wrapped in fur and certainty. Her husband, Robert, stood beside her, arms folded, face carved from ice. They hadn't cried at the funeral. They had talked about arrangements and the future. Ethan should have known what that meant. "You can take what fits in the truck," Margaret said sharply, her voice cutting through the wind. "After that you're done here." Ethan stepped forward, boots crunching in the snow. "This is still their home," he said quietly. "They just lost their mother." Robert scoffed. "They need structure. Not a drifting soldier with no income and no plan." Rex growled low. "Not loud. Not reckless. A warning." Miles felt it before he understood it. Ava buried her face into Ethan's coat, shaking. "You promised Hannah," Ethan said, his voice tight. "You said you'd help us." Margaret's eyes hardened. "We promised to protect our grandchildren. And that means removing them from you." The words hit harder than the cold. Security guards shifted near the gate. Boxes were dropped into the snow. A framed photo shattered at Ethan's feet. Hannah smiling, forever frozen in glass and memory. Ethan didn't bend down. He couldn't. His hands were shaking. "Get in the truck," he told the twins softly. Rex moved first, jumping into the back seat, positioning himself between Ava and Miles like a living wall. Ethan loaded the last of their bags while the estate lights glowed warmly behind him. Everything he'd built with Hannah sealed off forever. As the engine started, Margaret turned away without looking back. They drove into the storm, the estate disappearing behind sheets of white. Miles broke the silence. "Dad?" he asked quietly. "Where are we going?" Ethan stared at the road, the past collapsing behind him, the future swallowed by snow. "Somewhere safe," he said. Rex met his eyes in the mirror. Steady. Alert. Certain. Ethan didn't know it yet, but beneath the floorboards of an abandoned farmhouse waiting at the edge of the valley, a truth powerful enough to destroy the Collins name, and worth $200 million, had been sleeping, guarded by the one soul in the world who already knew where to find it. The farmhouse looked like it had lost a war with time. The roof sagged, the porch leaned, and snow filled the cracks where warmth used to live. Ethan parked the truck and sat still for a moment, gathering the strength he no longer had the luxury to waste. Rex leapt out first, nose cutting through the air, body tense. His ears pinned forward as if the land itself had whispered a warning. "This is just temporary," Ethan told the twins. "We'll make it work." Inside, the air smelled of cold wood and forgotten years. Ethan spread sleeping bags near a portable heater while Ava traced shapes in the frost on the window. Miles tried to smile. Rex didn't settle. He paced, sniffed, returned again and again to one warped floorboard near the old stone fireplace. His paw scraped against it, nails clicking sharply. "Rex, not now," Ethan murmured. "We're exhausted." The dog whined softly but obeyed, lying down only after positioning himself between the children and the door. That night, the storm worsened. Wind screamed. Shutters slammed. Ethan didn't sleep. He listened. Watched. Remembered other nights filled with danger, different continents, different enemies. Morning brought no peace. At the sawmill where Ethan found temporary work, he noticed a black SUV parked near the treeline. It was gone by lunch. Back at the farmhouse, Rex discovered fresh footprints circling the barn. Not animals. People. That evening, the power cut out without warning. The knock came just after dark. 3 slow knocks. Controlled. Deliberate. Rex exploded into motion, barking with a force that rattled the walls. Ethan grabbed the flashlight, heart hammering, but when he opened the door, no one stood there. Only snow. Silence. Then the floor groaned. A loud crack split the room as the warped board near the fireplace collapsed inward. Ava screamed. Miles stumbled back. Ethan rushed forward, flashlight slicing into the darkness below. Metal. A reinforced lockbox, black steel, military grade. Rex sat beside it, chest heaving, eyes locked on Ethan as if saying, "This is it." Ethan lifted the box with effort, snow and dust falling away. Inside lay documents, a flash drive, and a sealed letter in Hannah's handwriting. His hands shook as he opened it. "If you're reading this, my parents have already shown you who they are." Ethan swallowed hard. The inheritance is real. All of it. And they don't know. Trust Rex. He will lead you. Outside, the wind howled louder, but inside, something shifted. This wasn't survival anymore. This was the beginning of a fight Hannah had prepared long before she died. The attorney's office was small, quiet, and warm, everything the farmhouse was not. Samuel Klein read through the documents with slow precision, his expression darkening with every page. Your wife was the sole beneficiary of a private trust established by her grandmother, he said finally. It bypassed her parents entirely. Ethan stared at him. How much? Samuel met his eyes. $200 million. The room fell silent. Ava's breath caught. Miles went completely still. Rex shifted closer to Ethan, sensing the shock ripple through him. She hid it to protect you, Samuel continued. And the trust activates if custody interference occurs. Ethan's jaw tightened. Which they already tried. Samuel nodded. Exactly. By the time they returned to the farmhouse, the black SUV was back, parked closer this time. That night, the sheriff arrived with a warning disguised as concern. They're filing emergency custody, he said quietly. Powerful people. The next morning, the threat became real. 2 patrol cars. Court papers. Temporary removal. Ethan stepped onto the porch, Rex at his side, body low and immovable. You're not taking my kids, Ethan said calmly. Before anyone could answer, Samuel's car skidded into the drive. He stepped out holding a stamped document. Federal injunction, he announced. You enforced that order and you violated. Margaret and Robert arrived moments later, fury burning behind polished smiles. You should have handed them over, Margaret hissed. Ethan didn't raise his voice. Hannah knew exactly what you'd do. For the first time, uncertainty cracked Robert's expression. Court came fast. Evidence poured out. Surveillance, suppressed filings, private investigators. Then Hannah's recorded voice filled the courtroom. Protect the children. Do not trust my parents. The judge didn't hesitate. Custody denied. Investigation ordered. Margaret's world collapsed in a single sentence. Outside, Miles wrapped his arms around Ethan. Ava cried into Rex's fur. The dog stood tall, calm, victorious. But Ethan knew better. Power didn't vanish when exposed. It retreated. Regrouped. As they drove back toward the valley, Rex stared out the window, muscles tight, watching shadows most people couldn't see. The inheritance had surfaced. The truth was out. And the people who'd thrown them into the snow were already planning what came next. Winter softened its grip on the valley as weeks passed. With emergency funds from the trust, Ethan repaired the farmhouse. Windows sealed. Roof strengthened. Warmth returned slowly, carefully, like trust after betrayal. The twins laughed again. Rex healed a shallow cut from a trespasser's trap the vet said hadn't been meant for animals. Court filings continued. Investigations widened. The Collins name appeared in places it never should have. One morning Margaret arrived alone. No guards. No lawyers. I didn't know, she said standing in the snow. About the money. About what my husband did. Ethan watched her carefully. Hannah knew. Margaret's shoulders slumped. I want to see the children. Ethan thought of Hannah. Of forgiveness that didn't mean surrender. Supervised visits, he said. Here. She nodded, tears freezing on her cheeks. Spring came quietly. Ethan used part of the inheritance to establish a foundation. Housing, therapy, service dogs for veterans. Rex trained alongside new handlers, steady and proud. 1 year later, snow returned gently, not cruel. Rex dug beneath an old birch tree near the fence one morning, uncovering something small and gold. Hannah's wedding ring. Ethan closed his fingers around it, breath catching. He slid it onto a chain around his neck, resting it beside his dog tags. The twins pressed close. Rex sat at their feet, guardian and guide. The gates that once shut them out no longer mattered. Because the dog had found the truth. And the man they tried to break had built something stronger than inheritance. He built a future.